Hey, Kev.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. What is this?
This is a Ibanez UV777-PBK. The P stands for pyramid, which are the inlays, and BK stands for black, which is the color. This is part of Steve Vai's signature line.
Is it rare? How many were made?
They probably made a few thousand of these as they're part of a signature line. They made a ton of them. There's no production numbers from Ibanez on these. They don't usually dish us out on signature models.
Okay. Does this one have any special features?
This one's really cool. It has obviously the pyramid inlay, which is a Steve Vai symbol. We have really nice pearl binding. We have mother of pearl inlays. And normally this guitar comes with a mirrored pick guard, which is kind of cool. And normally it has Ibanez, or actually DiMarzio pickups in there. But as you can see, those are Seymour Duncans, and there's a story behind that.
What's your favorite thing about it?
This was my very first 7-string, and when I was living in New York, I kept going into this music store to play this guitar. It had just come out, and it was in their big display case, and I would go after work and I would sit down and I would, play this for a couple of hours and then go home. And then Christmas rolled around and I go into the store and it's gone. And I go, oh my God, what happened to it? I was gonna get myself a Christmas present. And someone came in and bought it, and the guys told me, they were like, well, okay. Well, if you guys get another one in, let me know. And I don't know, a week or so later, Christmas happened, and there's a big box in the living room, and it's huge. It's like 6 feet tall. It's like a refrigerator box. And it had my name on it, from Santa to Kevin. And I was like, what the hell is this? And I was not putting two and two together. I'm a guy, I'm slow. So I shook the box, and it's something, big and heavy. It's like a barbell or something. So I'm like, all right, whatever. Christmas rolls around, I open up the box. It's inside of, this guitar is in a case, inside of my sleeping bag, inside of probably 50 pounds of bubble wrap in this big refrigerator box. And so it took me forever to unpack it, and I was so thrilled. And I was like, wow, this was a guitar that was at that music store. And that one was, that was pretty cool. So that was cool for how it appeared in my life. And then getting used to the low B is something fun. If you play bass, a low B is a normal thing, but for guitar players, it's fun to incorporate that into your playing, especially when you're playing live. It's a lot of fun to drop that, and guys are like, oh, it's so spooky. But yeah, that one was cool. This thing I took to Steve Vai had an album come out, and he was doing signings at record stores, and I went to Huntington, New York, and I had him sign the back of the headstock on this, which was pretty cool. And then I don't know, there's nothing like super special about it. It's very much a production model. I countersunk these as just something I wanted to try out, because a lot of guys were ripping these strap locks off of the horns, and so I countersunk it in the butt of the guitar and in the horn. So that's kind of one of the modifications I did on this. Everything else is pretty much stock on it.
Very nice. Anything else you want to tell us?
So this one's got a pretty cool story behind it. My friend Frank worked for Seymour Duncan, and at NAMM several years ago, they were displaying new pickups, and they needed a guitar to display those new pickups, to demo them. And he asked me, hey, can we borrow your Universe? Because we have a hum and a single and another hum we'd like to do. And I was like, yeah, sure. It's just hanging on the wall here. We'll send it out to NAMM. I'll see you at NAMM and get to see the guitar in action. Whoever plays it is cool. And send it back to me when we're done. And he's like, yeah. And you can keep the prototypes and all that. I didn't want the mirrored pickguard going out because it would definitely get scratched and whatever. So we went to a local guy called Pickguardian, and he made the pickup cover. He also did the back plates, and he cut a little access hole for the tremolo, which was pretty cool. This is just plain black plastic on the original guitar. So then I ship it out to Frank, and we go to NAMM, and the pickups are a big success. People really like them. I think these are still a production model. I don't know the name. These are prototypes. They don't have any numbers on them or anything. And about a week after NAMM, I said, hey, Frank, are you going to send the guitar back? He's like, oh, yeah, it's in my car. It's going out, UPS tomorrow morning. I'm like, hey, great, okay. The next day, I get a call from Frank. Hey, man, I have some bad news. My car got broken into last night, and along with 20 other cars on the block, and they stole a whole bunch of my stuff, and they stole your guitar.
Oh, no.
I'm blown away at this point. I'm like, okay, never a borrower or a lender be, that sort of thing. And Frank was terribly apologetic, and Seymour Duncan offered to buy me a new guitar, all this stuff. But, this was a Christmas present, and, it was signed by Steve, and, it had all this cool stuff on it. Kind of a bummer. So Frank and I looked for about 2 years. We just kept checking eBay and checked all the popular guitar places where guys are selling stuff. Never found anything. And eventually Frank said, look, Seymour Duncan's just going to buy you a new universe. We'll find one that's perfectly mint, and I'll set it up and I'll send it to you. And I was like, that's where we're at, man. We're never going to find this thing again. And it was probably a month later, 3 weeks later, Frank calls me and says, you're not going to believe this. I'm at Guitar Center in Oxnard, and the cops are on their way here because I found your guitar. So Frank had gone in to get some supplies, just some guitar picks and strings and other stuff. And he just happens to look up on the wall, and he sees my Universe hanging up on the wall with a for sale tag. And it's immediately identifiable because these guys all came with mirrored pick guards. So when he saw this pick guard with the strap lock buttons countersunk, he knew immediately what it was, and he grabbed a manager and said, you need to call the police. I need that guitar, and I'll explain it. And they had video of the guy coming in to sell the guitar to them, so they got the guy eventually, which is pretty cool. And the cop said, okay, you can have the guitar. And Frank said, I'll send it back to you. I want to set it up, get it cleaned up. Guitar Center didn't do a good job getting it cleaned, and I'll put new strings on and stuff. I'm like, fine. At least we have it back, right? Don't leave it in your car this time. And it took a couple of weeks, and I didn't understand why it had taken so long. So the guitar shows up, and I'm like, oh, thanks, Frank. That's great. I'm glad we have it back. And he said, yeah, check out the back of the headstock. So it says, Steve Vai, again, congrats. So what had happened was, the reason Frank kept it for an extra few days is he talked to a mutual friend, Andy, and told Andy the story on how this, was a birthday or a Christmas present, and then it got stolen, and how it got recovered, and took it to Steve and told Steve the story, and Steve was just blown away. And Steve said, you have the guitar with you? And Frank's like, yeah, I'm about to ship it out. And he's like, okay, give me the guitar. And he signed it again. The thief had actually tried to sand off the signature on the back. So he knew, the thief knew that it would be an identifiable mark. So when they saw it sanded off, Steve's like, yeah, I'll sign it again. And he signed it again.
That's amazing.
Which is a pretty cool story. It's very rare to get guitars back, and to get something like this back was really, really cool.
Great story. Thanks for sharing.
You're welcome.